Check 1 2. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mike. I go by DJ Access, and today we're going to be talking about Streamlabs OBS, which is what I'm using right now, and more specifically overlays that DJs can use, as well as tips. I recently did a stream for Home Alone. It's a kind of virtual music festival that benefited the Black Mental Health Alliance and a few other organizations. We did it with a number of DJs. It was our second iteration, and I took my time to really put together a stream overlay. If you want tips about Streamlabs OBS and streaming for DJs in general, check the card that I'm about to put on YouTube now, or just go to my YouTube and you can see all my tips, and then come back here when you want to get into the advanced overlay options. Now, for those of you who use Photoshop, using an overlay is going to be a little bit easier if you're used to dealing with layers. Basically what I had to do is chop up some videos that I like, make a kind of a stage, if you will, and I'll kind of go through that in Photoshop, and then I can kind of piece everything together in OBS. The fewer things that you have running on OBS, the better it's going to be. So basically what I did, I had to redo my overlay theme the day of the festival, so I did that as quickly as possible, and I recorded myself so I can follow along with you guys, can see what I'm doing, and then I'll talk through some of the places that are a little bit tricky or that are really important. So without further ado, I'm going to hop in. So you notice I have a blank Streamlabs OBS window here. See if I can move this. I can. Beautiful. So you can rename your different scenes. Scenes are like different programs, or different scenes, really. I don't know the way to explain it. And then scenes are made up of sources. So I'm adding my source. This is a media source. Media is for video. I always turn on loop for what I'm doing, and then close file when inactive really helps to save your CPU. So if you have an older computer, or if you're trying to DJ and do your stream at the same time, having close file when inactive is really helpful. And then you select the video. This one was my starting soon. I can right click, transform, and fit to screen to make it look nice there. And then I typically, when I'm done with something, I'll lock it up. That way it doesn't move later. I was trying to do this as quickly as possible, so that's why I did that. So we go on, lock it up, click the lock. And then we'll add our new scene. So that was when, maybe the 5 minutes when I'm not streaming, I just want something on there, I can put music behind it. That's what the starting soon scene is. And it's just made up of that video, which I got from somewhere online, probably Envato or the Streamlabs website. So this first scene I'm calling the stage logo. You want to make these as easy as possible, because if you're flipping between scenes, or if you have them numbered on a keyboard like I had, I could flip to them by using different numbers on the keypad. You want it to be easy, because especially if you're DJing, you want to look over, see where you need to go, and then get there as quickly as possible. So stage logo in chat, I know it's my stage, I know my logo is going to be probably on one of the visuals, and then I have my chat box. Okay, and for this, I kind of did like a UFO kind of DJing on top, so I had all these already done. I go into UFO Flying Saucer. I know it's video 1. I'm double checking that right here. I don't know if it's going to show you that, actually. See if I can skip a little bit. It looks like I'm just viewing the image. Yeah, it's not going to show us. That's okay. So here's the Flying Saucer. Again, I put on loop and close when inactive. If you want the video to keep playing, you don't have to put that, but again, it's easier on your CPU. So here I am. I got this off of Envato, and it's this is going to serve as like the engines for my stage. So I'm just resizing it here. Nice tip, you can crop by using Alt and Shift, and then clicking any of the any of these buttons, like right here. Alt and Shift will crop it for you, and I find that's better than using the filters. Again, that's Alt and Shift, and I talk about that in my streaming tips video 1. And then you can also do like a stretch where it's not fixed if you hit Shift as well. So Alt and Shift will crop, and then Shift will let you free transform. So I add an image. So now that I have my stage kind of where I need to be, title it, stage, grab my image file, go on graphics, and there's my stage. PNG will make it transparent. So if you're doing something in Photoshop, make sure you make it a PNG so it's transparent if that's what you want. And then so you see what I did is I have my speakers on the side, and then that little box in the middle is going to be where my my video screen is. And I'm just going to put a video on top of that, so I'm just lining it up the way I want to. I basically just grabbed some array speakers off of Google, cut them out, made them transparent, flipped one of them, copied it, and then flipped it, and then now I have my little array stage. Gonna add another video, media source, add new source, title it. You'll get the hang of this really fast. This is my logo reel. I'm gonna loop it. I'm gonna close file when inactive. I recommend having all of your Twitch and streaming graphics all in the same place just for easy, because sometimes Streamlabs will just delete your stuff randomly, or it'll go out. So having it quickly, so in case like it's right before a stream like this was, you'll have it. So I'm going to grab my logo loops. So this is a video I've made of some of the logo loops that I've made in the past. Okay. Just like in Photoshop, you can drag your sources on top of one another so that you know, you see what you want to see. You can go into filters to change some things. Actually, you want to do color key if I remember correctly. Yeah, so I've basically messed up. And now I don't see the UFO, so I'm going back in to fix it. So I get rid of chroma key for this. Chroma key is if you have a green screen. That's what I'll use if I have a green screen. So I went to color key, and then now I can tell it exactly what to look for. I'm gonna hit, I tried to do like in Photoshop where you click it, it didn't work, so I just clicked on black. And then now I can see by using the similarity. When you're using your green screen, just go top to bottom. So similarity, then smoothness, and then opacity, you probably won't need that much. And then, so similarity, you just kind of get to where it works. I resize it, or remove it rather. You'll notice I lost some of the information that was at the bottom. That's okay. It's going to happen when you're using a color key or a thing if you're not using like something that's completely cut out. And then now you can see it's transparent. Oh. Let's see what I did. I decided I didn't want the UFO apparently for these. You'll see me bring it back later. So I took the logo reel and I'm repositioning it so it looks like it's more of like a back screen. And then I'm going to put something over the front video wall, most likely a chat or another video image. Depending on your computer, you may have a limit on how many videos and images you can use, especially if you're using things like green screen. So just be mindful of that. Kind of add them one at a time, test in between to see if you can actually stream. Always use an Ethernet connection to your router. If you're streaming, that's just going to make it a lot more reliable. So I'm just adding a black rectangle here in front of the screen just to make it easier on my eyes. I don't have to, you know, see. I shouldn't have made that transparent in Photoshop, but it's okay. It's an easy fix. I have a black little rectangle I can use. I'm going to resize and just put it over that. Now there's my screen. I can stretch this. Bam. And then again, Shift and Alt, and I can crop. That's why it's not getting bigger or smaller, because I'm cropping it. And then I like that, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to lock it here. Yeah, just moving the logo room so you can see my logo a bit better. Okay, adding a new source. I know I want the chat box, so I'm going to add the chat box through Streamlabs OBS. Now this is pretty important. You want to go down in the visual setting and select always show messages. That's very important. Again, always show messages in the visual section. And then source, you do not want to have shut down the source when visible. And then text on Streamlabs in this chat box app always comes from the bottom. So if you're going to crop from the top. So you can say resize it. And I'm going to crop from the top here, Alt, Shift, and then drag. And I'm on a Mac, so I don't know if that's different on PC. So there's my chat box. And then now I'm going to test it over here on the side. There's a little arrow that'll open this up for you if you don't see it on your Streamlabs OBS. And then boom. There's my chat. I can go in and change the visual settings. I like boxed the best, so I went and changed that. Done. I'm checking it again, because if you change the chat box, it'll delete everything, and then boom, there's my message. And you'll see it kind of going like that. Cool, so I'll lock the chat box up. And then now that I have this, I was going to use this as kind of multiple, so this is kind of like one of my defaults. So this is like the stage, like if I want a close-up of me. I think I should add video in here next, but maybe I didn't do that. So if I had to go back and do it, what I would do is add my videos in with my cameras and then duplicate these out, so that that's, you know, fewer steps that I have to do, and I'm wondering if I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to remove that from this scene. I'm going to take my logo loop. Now keep in mind, the sources kind of go between your scenes, right? So if I change the logo reel, like if I had a filter, or if I change it to a different video, that's going to change across all scenes. It's very important. Again, if you change your source, it's going to change that source for all scenes. Now, not resizing, not cropping, unless you crop via the filter option. But if you move it from a different, if you change your source, it's going to change that for all scenes. So that can be pretty difficult to deal with. So I just changed that for this scene. I have my logos in front of me. I'm going to add new video source. Loop, close file when inactive. You'll get used to that. It's not graphics, it's visuals. And then here's my VJ reel. It's done. Fit. Transform, right click, fit to screen, boom, and then I'm going to drag it behind my stage, and then boom, I have a nice VJ graphic behind me. And you can make these yourselves. You can download them off the internet. There's tons of free ones on YouTube. You just type in free VJ loop. You know, obviously paid ones are going to be better, but you can obviously just get the free ones and make your own, cut them up if you have like Final Cut or iMovie or something like that. So apparently I got bored of whatever I was doing and forgot to make a chat box on my starting soon tab, so apparently I did that. Oh, I was waiting for my video to export, that's why. So I'm pretty sure I cut this out, but I went into Final Cut and changed up a video. I was waiting for it to export, and while I was doing that, I added the chat box to the starting screen. So you can see, I think I might have tested something here. And then I wanted to test to see if it would go on if someone typed into the Home Alone chat, and it did. So I knew my chat box was working. That's what I did with the test. Go back into Streamlabs and stream. So I'm going back in, I'm changing this VJ reel to the one I just made. Bam. Okay, so it looks like I'm pretty happy with this. So I duplicate. It's not stage logo. Stage cam chat. Oh, nope, not chat. One thing I can say is you probably want to have your scenes planned out before you do this. Now I did have them planned out, but the way my mind works, I'm constantly optimizing it like while I'm going. So originally I had a layout ready to go, and then now it looks like I'm making a few left turns here just to edit it to make it more simple for me, which is okay. But the more you can do in prep, the less like fiddling around that you have to do like I'm doing here. And I believe I was away from my cameras when I was originally doing these overlays. I was going to add those in when I went downstairs to my studio. So that's probably why I didn't add the cameras in first. Although if I had to go back and do it, I would create everything in the studio with the camera, so that when I duplicated it over, I could just duplicate those cams as well, and you'll probably see that at some point. And this stream always had a positive message to it, so this one, instead of the logo reel, I wanted to put in some heart videos, so I removed this. Add new, title, loop, close file when inactive, boom. Resize, transform, right click, fit to screen, and move it behind everything, and then boom, and then move it to where the heart. So if you guys can kind of see, once I put my camera in, like this is where I'm DJing as if it was a stage. So that's going to be behind me. So me as the DJ will be in front. So basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to make it so the hearts go all the way behind the speakers, and makes the heart a little bit larger. So I'll be DJing right in this area. And I tried to slow it down. I would do this in Final Cut. It didn't even look good in Final Cut either. I think I actually tried. So I tried it at 70. I think I ended up going back to 100 in the end. Okay, lock it up. Head over to another video, lock those up, because all I need is the camera working, so I would do that in the studio. That looks good. We're going to rename this. And instead of doing stage, I decided to call it close-up, because this would be like a much closer version of me. I think you'll see in the next kind of theme. This is like the close-up theme, and then I have the stage theme. So I just renamed it. Should have done that in my organization, but it, something that you realize mid-process. It's all right. So I duplicate this. And I kind of wanted this to look more like a stage. I realized that didn't look good, so I tried it going at a faster rate. I think I ended up going back at 100 like I was saying, but we're at 80 now. Delete. Media source, add source, new, title, I think this is called lights. Done. Move it behind everything. Move it up. And boom, it looks like I have stage lights behind me. You can use the arrow keys to resize and move things as long as they aren't locked. So that can help you find and like kind of nudge stuff into where you need it to be. So now you can see I got the lights behind me and got my logo reel up front. And then I lock it up. And then for the next theme, I want to use the black and the stage together. So I've made a folder. I'm going to copy that folder, add a new scene, title it. I'm going to paste, duplicate, unlock it. Resize, and I knew I wanted this in the top left corner. So there's my floating stage. Now I know I need the background video behind it. So again, I put these all together beforehand. And I wanted to cover up that logo up in the top left corner. Right click, fit to screen. That's what I want. And then I gotta make sure I drag that video out of the group, which I do. There we go. And by selecting the group, I can move the black kind of screen together with what I'm doing. And that's kind of helpful. That way I don't have to move them individually. Media source. Add something new. Yep, so this is kind of like a feelsy type scene. So I'll put the heart behind me. It's kind of like a video screen option. Yep, so there's like my video screen behind me. Again, where I'm going to be DJing, where my camera is going to go is going to be like right here. And I'll show you that at the end of the video. So this is how my stage looked originally. And I just wanted to make sure I covered up the logo. And then I'm just going to drag the stage down a little bit so you can see the entire heart. Bam. And I'm like, there's not really an explanation as to why that stage is like there. So that's when I added the UFO. I'm pretty sure I'll do that next. Unless I'm adding the whatever's going on the screen. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I know it's that one. Open it up. I have to add the green screen. So it's a color key, not the chroma key. Color key. Done. The background's black, so I use custom color. Black. Check the similarity. That's going to be the most important slider, is the similarity slider. And then smoothness. So there. Now see my UFO is now green screened and cut out, and I can resize. Now you can see I have a little bit of information missing at the bottom of the UFO. So I'm going to go in and fix that. I'm going to go right click back into the filters and then turn the similarity down. And I can see that it's still registering the black as green screen. So now I have a little bit more information there. Anything black is still going to be invisible. And that's why you lock your other stuff so it doesn't move around. And then it took me a long time to decide where to put the UFO. But I move it behind the stage. And then I drag it down kind of underneath. And then now, boom, I got my floating stage. And because this is more of a feelsy scene, I decided to add the chat box in to my front screen. And then I think I end up taking it out because there's no way people can see that. But I might leave it in, I can't remember. And again, that's Alt-Shift and then grab to crop. And that's the best way to crop. You can crop in the filter section, but that'll do it for everything. Like all your scenes, anytime that source is used, that crop will be there. So instead, I'll put my logo there. Because I already have the logo reel there, like as a source, I was just able to select it, drag it in, Use the arrow keys for some fine adjustments, as long as it's not locked. And then lock it up. Lock up the UFO, and then boom, that's my scene. Obviously, I'm going to put myself in here later, but that's fairly simple. Pretty much the same, and then you add the green screen. Because I have a green screen, I can select chroma key, and that'll make it so I disappear in the background. Or my green screen background doesn't show. And now that I've finished with that scene, I can duplicate it, and then it goes a little bit easier now that I have an idea of, like, now I have it kind of the way I want it to be. So I'll retitle it. And then the way I did this is I had a keyboard and I wanted to use all the numbers on the keyboard for different scenes. So I basically had 10, 1 through 9, and then 0 as 10. So I knew I had 10 scenes that I could flip between. You can obviously create more, but then I have to use the mouse to flip between scenes. So I had, I think, 5 close-ups and then 4 lives already flipped, and then 0's typically my starting screen, just in case something goes wrong and I need to not show myself or the music or whatever it is. So alright, so this next one is like level 2. So level 1 was feels. That's for like when it was an EDM show, so I was playing a lot of feel good, like house and progressive house. So feels was like anytime there was a build up, someone singing. And then this is level 2, where there might be a beat, or I don't want to be overusing the feels one, so I could just this is kind of like in any situation scene, and you'll kind of see that everyone is kind of dancing, like kind of dancing. They're not going crazy, but they're also not standing there. So I put this background behind just to kind of make it look like a stage. I think I swapped this out. Maybe not though. And remember, I duplicated this, so this is still the feels video in the back. I drag that behind the stage, and then I should be updating the feels video here. Okay, so now I add back the right video to go behind it. Add new, title it. Loop and close file, boom, browse. Okay, resize, right click, transform, fit to screen, and then I drag it behind everything else, and boom, now people are vibing, and I have that scene pretty much done. And then I just go to duplicate, and we'll do it all over again. So again, once you plan out how you want your scenes to go, and if you have like a theme for like a group of scenes, that can make it a lot easier. You just kind of create one, duplicate, change some of the elements, duplicate, change some of the elements, instead of having to redo like a million different scenes. You have like, 2 theme sets that you can edit. So if you have like a logo video, if you have like a different backdrop that you want to do, different background videos. So this is a hype one. So this is when the drop comes in, I can just go to this. And I think for this video, I don't know if I do it here, but eventually I made it so it does not, it loops, but don't close the file when it's inactive, because there was a lot of hype moments in this, so I didn't want to keep showing the same drop every time, so it kind of cycles through, and then I wanted to put the lights behind me instead of the staging. Alright, I wanted to put like kind of the real stage lights, so I just crop, and then resize. And then I just drag it behind. And I think I realized that I didn't want those people kind of on screen, so I think I resize it. Yep, so here's me resizing it, so that you can't see the people, and then I'll probably just crop it out. Bam. And you can see the lights kind of match what's going on screen right there, and like the blue. So it's kind of cool. Doesn't always do that, but if you could pick a solid color that, you know, festivals use a lot, like blues or reds, you know, you can kind of do it, or whites. And this video isn't so you guys can like copy this, but you can kind of see how I built it, and then, you know, use your own different elements, use your own backgrounds, use your own visuals, you know, use your own speakers, engine for how you're getting the floating device, however you want to do it. But now you can see what tools you can use and kind of how things go down. And then I think we have another one where this is not like the super height. Yeah, epic is what I call it. And so this has like all the fireworks, the cryo, like everything. So I'm going to flip this video out. Again, you don't want to double click this video and then change it, because that'll change it on all of the other scenes. So I want to remove this. Add media source. You guys should be familiar with this by now. Add source. New. Rename. Loop and close file when inactive. Bam, and then now I got my fireworks, transform, fit to screen. Drag it behind everything. Bam. Then lock it up. I think for this one I moved the stage, but I can't remember. Maybe not. And that's pretty much how I did everything. You guys can see what I did. I'm going to flip back over here. Oh, Lord JB, what's up, man? I don't know how long you've been watching, because I was watching that other screen. I was just making a quick video here. But again, guys, this is going to go on YouTube. So... oh, let me ask this question. What was the software used to get those MP4s? If you type into Google YouTube to MP4, one of the first 3 links, they should all work and they should all be free. And that's how I do it. I think it's YouTubeDownloader.com maybe. But just try a couple and that'll work. What's up, Forerunner? Man, I should have been watching the chat. Thank you guys for hopping in. This is just a streaming video, just to show people OBS overlays that they can do. But thanks for tuning in, guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what other videos you'd want to see, what other questions you have about streaming. And really appreciate anyone who subscribes. We're trying to create a really dope DJ community here, so ask your questions in the comments. I'm going to answer them so other DJs can work too. Lord JB, Forerunner, thanks for being here, guys. Hopefully this video was helpful for you all. If it wasn't, ask a question in the comments. Peace.